Good morning, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. Good morning, UC San Diego staff. My name is Jen Bowser, Sustainability Engagement Manager in Resource Management and Planning and Chair of the Staff Association. On behalf of the Staff Association and Human Resources, I'd like to welcome you to Cabinet Conversations. Cabinet Conversations is a series of conversations with Cabinet members designed to help us to get to know our campus leaders on a more personal level and hear what leaders have to say about important topics that are impacting our campus. This new series came out of your requests in the Staff at Work survey, the engagement survey conducted by the Council of UC Staff Assemblies, also known as CUCSA, and the Idea Wave campaign that was used in part to develop the Staff Association strategic plan. Today's event is being sponsored by Farmers Insurance Choice. San Diego is home to thousands of talented employees engaged in work that benefits local, national, and international communities. To achieve the impactful work that they accomplish, staff require ongoing professional development opportunities to educate and enhance the skills necessary to meet new challenges and advance the university's mission. As a result, the UC San Diego Staff Association created the Staff Association Scholarship Program. This program is intended to support career development and advancement efforts and is funded by the contributions of businesses like Farmers Insurance Choice. This support will help our staff meet the university's mission and advance their careers. Farmers Insurance provides access to Farmers Insurance Choice to you as staff of UC San Diego for quality home and auto insurance. Farmers believes in the continued development of our staff by sponsoring the Staff Association Scholarship Fund and is proud to host this week's Cabinet Conversation with the Chancellor. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. We collected questions in advance, and you're also welcome to use the Q&A function. We'll get to as many questions as we can, time permitting. Lastly, if you want to check your Zoom settings, ideally with myself and the Chancellor side by side for the best viewing. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the screen Chancellor Pradeep Khosla.
Hi, Jen. How are you doing?
Good morning, Chancellor. How are you?
Doing well.
Not bad for a Tuesday.
And a gorgeous day outside. If you guys have not stepped outside, you should.
Thank you. We're going to get started with just some personal questions. Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Yeah.
Where was I born?
Yeah.
So I was born in India in a city called Amritsar. It's in the state of Punjab. But I had never lived there. I always lived in Bombay until I was 18, and then I went to college in a different city. So,
and you have an academic background. Do you miss teaching and being in the classroom or the lab?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The only reason I came here to do a PhD was to teach and to do research. And even when I was an assistant professor, I was very involved in like rethinking the curriculum and rethinking what should be taught and what should not be taught. And then I even wrote a textbook that I used to teach freshmen called Introduction to Electrical and Computer Engineering. So, yep. So I not only enjoy teaching, but I enjoy teaching like freshman level.
And how does your background as an engineer inform your leadership philosophy and style?
I don't know how to describe it, but I view myself, and maybe because I'm an engineer, I view myself as a problem solver. And I think in leadership, it's all about addressing and resolving issues more often than it's about articulating new issues. So I see myself as a problem solver, and that actually informs how I deal with issues and how I solve, how I address issues.
And you came to UC San Diego in 2012.
Right.
Looking back over your time in San Diego thus far, what do you like most about this area? And And then furthermore, what do you miss from previous places you've lived or worked?
So, I have to say something which probably is not the way most people think about this. I left India, I came to Pittsburgh, uh, and I was there for 30 years. I got up and I left Pittsburgh and I came to San Diego. So I'm one of those people who basically adopts the town I am in as my hometown, as my family. It's not to say that the previous hometown or family was not good, but I don't reminisce too much about what I miss and what I don't miss. So I enjoy where I am, and that's it.
And what do you like most about San Diego?
Oh, I tell you, I'm having difficulty not like, except for housing prices. I'm having difficulty not liking things about San Diego. I mean, San Diego is just a spectacular. It's like the most. It's the perfect town in the country, right? So, right.
With the perfect weather.
That's what I mean in every which way. And it's got like great restaurants, which people don't appreciate. I mean, San Diego's got such a broad variety of restaurants, outside activities, art, culture, entertainment. It's really spectacular. Uh, yep. And I actually like the beaches, even though I don't sit on the beach, because having brought up in Bombay, it was a beach city. So it was right. Right. So I like being near the ocean.
So walk us through a typical day for you.
Oh, I don't know. It's not going to be very impressive. I usually get up, I don't know, maybe like 6:30 or so. And by the time I'm ready, it's maybe like 7:15. And amazingly, as I'm walking out of the bedroom, in front of me is the ocean, and I see this for like 50 milliseconds, and I get out of the door and I'm in the office, and I never see the ocean again until late at night, and I barely see it. So the time I enjoy the ocean the most is when I have functions at home. But otherwise, my whole day is pretty much meetings, conversations of one sort or the other, uh, which I know might sound boring, but I enjoy people. That's why I like to ask questions. So I learn a lot about individuals, the topic. So if I seem like I'm more informed than most, it's because I just pick up a little bit here and there from everybody. So if you talk to me enough, before you know, I'll be able to do your job, or at least act like I can do your job, even though I know I cannot.
Sure. It's been a busy year.
Yep.
When you do want to relax and recharge, what do you do? Do you vacation somewhere? Do you prefer to staycation?
Actually, all of the above. It's not, I think vacations are really good, but it's not in my personality to take like 7 days off and do nothing. Right. But I will take a day and a half off and just hang around, enjoy the locations wherever I am. Uh, and during the pandemic, it's primarily been like trying to find a way to not get stressed out, because there was enough to get stressed out about. And the moment you get stressed out, you lose control. So just trying to chill and relax. It's not that you're not working, it's just that you are in control of your emotions and working.
You meditate?
um, Technically, in the sense of the word meditation, I don't. But do I just sit quietly and am I lost in thought? More often than you would want. So to me, that would be meditation, but it won't be meditation if you were like a Indian yogi or something, because I don't have a meditation mat. I don't have a yoga mat. Let's just put that.
Okay. I'm envisioning it behind you, but nope.
Right.
All right. A little bit more about work. So you expanded college access and affordability for underserved populations with the first ever strategic plan, which also initiated interdisciplinary research initiatives to foster collaboration and solve societal challenges, and strengthened university and community relationships and partnerships. So what was the process like for creating that first strategic plan?
Initially, I have to tell you, the process was a little bit tedious and full of frustrations, because when I first got here, okay, let's just talk about what a strategic plan means. To most people, it means it's going to be a document which is going to mandate or dictate what you're going to be doing when and what milestones would be achieved when. That was not my view. That is not my view. A strategic plan to me is a broad overarching strategy that everybody has internalized, not exactly in the same way, but approximately in the same way, so that when all individual operators, being all of us individually, human beings who come to work every day, execute that plan in our head and in our day-to-day function, the institution starts moving in a reasonable direction, right? So it's two different ways of thinking about this. So people would say, wait a second, we're 50 some years old. We've never had a strategic plan. We're good. We don't need it. And this is only the administration's way of telling us what to do. It took a little bit of work. Actually, it took a lot of work. But in the end, we did go through with that. It took 18 months. And I think what came out was the way I expected it, just 8 words. It was not a plan. It was a strategy. It was a framework for you to think about when you come to work every day. And then you do what you think is right.
And try that again. Where are we in terms of the plan? Like, what is our focus right now?
Now, remember, it was not a plan. It was a framework. So frameworks have much, they have more longevity than a plan. A plan is a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. Frameworks is a way to think about your situation, think about what you're doing, think about where you are. So in this case, the framework was 8 words. It was, we are going to be student-centered, research-focused, service-oriented public university. So now you might say, wait a second, I don't need you to tell me. It doesn't take 18 months to figure this out. Well, what took 18 months is for people to internalize these words and to ask themselves, when I come to work in the job I do, what does it mean to be student-centered? What does it mean to be research-focused? What does it mean to be service-oriented? And for everybody, it means different things based on the job you do, based on the framework you bring to work, right? But overall, the institution moves in approximately the right direction without having milestones like by year 3, I'm going to have 20% more people, 50% more contracts. So I think those are artificially created milestones. So does that make sense? So what I've done is created a path for a journey. So we are on that journey.
And what are you most proud of from that journey? Or what are the biggest accomplishments?
Many things. So I can just go down the list of things that really give me a lot of pride. So first of all, we went from 6 colleges to 8 colleges to reduce the size of every college and therefore hopefully lead to a better student experience. Secondly, we went from a research volume of slightly less than $1 billion to 1.5 billion. So we've added more research than most institutions have as total research in their lifetime. Thirdly, the thing that I'm the most proud of is we created these 1,000 Chancellor's Associate scholarships where you are guaranteed loan-free admission. Fourthly, we are close to becoming an HSI from like low single digits or low double digits, like 11% Hispanic Latino population. We are at close to 21, 22%. So we have become a more diverse place. I think we are a more inclusive place. I don't think we have arrived at our destination, but we are clearly approaching a journey. We're on a journey to reach a destination of being an inclusive and a diverse place. I can just go down the list of multiple changes, and these changes are not, again, milestones. These are cultural changes. People coming to work are thinking differently about who they are, where they are, and how they see UC San Diego.
And what do you think are the top 3 to 5 challenges on our way to our destination, which?
So the biggest challenge for us right now is infrastructure. So we went on this journey to build, give a 4-year housing guarantee, which most people were supportive of, some not. Lo and behold, that vision turns out to be true, because now we are down to barely a 2-year housing guarantee and the market outside is exploding. Now, nobody predicted COVID to show up and create a disruption, But that's the beauty of these visions, where we always know there's going to be some sort of disruption, even we don't know what it's going to be. But we do know that the more we control our own quality of life, the resources that are at our disposal, the better off we all are. And in the past, we had not utilized our land resource effectively enough to build infrastructure. So that's why, on one hand, we're making a lot of progress in construction. On the other hand, there is frustration that the progress is not fast enough. So I cannot just undo like 30 years of no construction.
Well, with 8th College under construction, what is your visions for the colleges? Will we continue to add them? Will there be more than 8?
So right now, I'm not thinking about more than 8. Right now, I'm thinking about 8 and making sure that every college provides not the same, but a similar student experience as every other college. So all 8 colleges should be comparable to each other in terms of the student experience. In terms of our campus, there's a couple of different ways of thinking about this. One way I like to describe this campus is we were, as a campus, a bedroom community inside another bedroom community, being La Jolla. So like if you walk around this campus within like half a mile radius, you could not buy a toothbrush. You could not buy, just a lot of little everyday things, like soap or whatever, right? So we're trying to change that by bringing stores like Target onto our campus. We're trying to change that by building new ways of building colleges where they become living and learning communities where they're nearly self-contained, the recreational facilities, with restaurants, with cafeterias, academic buildings. So 8th College is going to be like that. 7th College, the village is like that. So we're slowly but steadily changing that. So I think the student experience is going to be just spectacular going forward. And most of our students have like ocean view living. So that's why I picked Torrey Pines as where we're going to build all the residential facilities.
Yeah. You've consistently been on campus since our operation shifted for the pandemic. What has that experience been like for you? What aspects of a less populated campus have you enjoyed, and what are you most looking forward to in terms of more folks being on campus?
So I've been on campus every day without exception since the pandemic started, or since March 11th, or whenever I closed the campus down. Now, or not close the campus down, ask people to go home and turn remote. Initially, it was pretty weird to come to this great campus here and see nobody around. It was like a ghost town. Then after a while, you get a little used to it, and now it becomes your quiet place. But I tell you, during all of these times, I really missed seeing students. And now over the last few days, I've been walking outside and I run into staff members. They all are excited. They say hi, the students say hi, they take pictures. So I have actually missed people being on campus. There's something good about people coming to campus and working and intermingling with each other, and especially seeing students and their happy faces going to classes, right? I don't think they're happy with going to class.
We've heard the phrase vibrant campus experience and how important it is to UC San Diego. Can you tell us more about this? Why is having a vibrant campus important to our mission and the way we serve students?
So I think for any institution, public or private, doesn't matter. The institution at the end of the day, and I've said this in different ways, has to be quote unquote owned physically, intellectually, and emotionally by the alumni, by the students, and by the people who come to work. So these three constituencies all have to own the institution physically, emotionally, and intellectually. So you can interpret that in multiple different ways. For it to be owned by the alumni, the students have to have a great experience on campus. So if the campus is primarily a bedroom community with nothing to do out here, with no memories to be recounted, memories to be made, interesting situations you get into. You see what I'm saying? Then it becomes a problem. So that's why having a vibrant experience means this is a place where you make friends, where you develop yourself, where you make memories, and it becomes part of who you are. So when you are a little bit older, you look back and these are the memories that bring you back to campus. So for example, sports would be one way of, not the only way, but one way of building camaraderie and friendships. And we were D2 players, and hardly any of our students would go to our sports events. Now that we are D1, I'm hoping to invest in at least a few of these sports, like basketball, for example, that become like the place where the crowds come together and you build a school spirit.
And when we're talking about being a destination campus, what does that mean?
So I'll tell you what that means to me. So for me, as a public institution, we have a responsibility that exceeds the traditional responsibility, in this case, of education and healthcare delivery. And post-World War II, most institutions, including private, would say economic development is part of our strategy, and it's important for R1 university like us to be part of the economic development strategy, which we are. But as I look at San Diego and us being a significant top 5 public institution in the country, San Diego is got a significant number of underserved areas and underserved populations. So I ask myself, who is going to enlighten them, make them more aware, and bring them and get them ready for college, let's say, for example. It's not always the high school experience. You also need experiences like, there are people out here who have never been to the ocean. There are people out here who don't know what an opera is. And I think, so I see, since we have all of these capacities, I see the role of this institution as a destination to really expose our population to art, entertainment, and culture in ways that they don't have access to because they're out of their financial reach. So I want this to be free. That's why this amphitheater we are building right below the light rail stop is going to have free performances for the broader San Diego community. I want you to come here, spend a day on campus, enjoy the art on campus, enjoy the beautiful architecture, enjoy hanging out, the restaurants. Does that, so
Yeah.
that's my view. So we have great capabilities, the Birch Aquarium. I want our people, the community, to be able to really own us emotionally. I want them to be emotionally vested in who we are.
Well, and so that kind of ties into my next question of what is your vision for how staff can feel connected with the mission of the university, especially for staff who are working in non-student facing roles? How do we connect to the campus?
First of all, you connect by coming to work, you connect by making friends, and you connect by really not just buying into the vision, but also influencing the vision and making this the place you want to come to. If you make this campus the place you want to come to, you would be very deeply connected. So you have to start believing that you have the power to influence and make this the place you want to come to every day. Right? It's just like your home, away from home. No, yeah, so if you just see this as a place you go to drink your coffee and come back at 5 p.m., then you're never going to be connected. You have to emotionally start saying, I want to change this place the way I want to see this place.
I like that. And what advice would you give to mid-level staff professionals who want to advance their careers?
I mean, look, it's all levels, low level, mid-level, high level. To me, it's irrelevant. If you want to advance your career, the way I see this is, number one, you have to really excel at what you do. And only you can help yourself there. Nobody else can force you to excel. I mean, I can create a situation where you can get courses and this and that, but at the end of the day, it is you who has to make that commitment. And my view is, once you excel at what you do, once you exhibit and exude happiness with your work, both the quality and the quantity and the type of work you do, it becomes infectious, and people around you see that, and people around you want to create more opportunities. I always want to create opportunities for everybody. I think nobody should be doing the same work out of force. Like, out of choice, you can be doing the same work for 40 years. That's perfectly fine. But you should not be compelled to do the same work and feel like you have no choice. So my job And anything you can do to help me is to create choices for people and opportunities for people so that they can explore who they are in the context of this 30,000 person campus, which is just the staff members.
Right. I think some might argue that there are challenges
I'm
in
sorry?
being, I think some might argue that there are some challenges
Right.
to excelling. Um, I'll just ask, I know that you started a ESR committee,
Right.
hot topic. Can you tell us more about the ESR review committee?
Right. So the ESR committee I started because it was brought to my attention that the ESR is not working. Now, one of the things that irritated me was it was not working for more than a year and nobody bothered to even drop a note to me. Whereas most times people drop an anonymous note to me on really trivial issues, and here nobody ever said anything. So anyways, when we figured this out, so there are two issues with ESR. One is a technological issue, the question of are all the pieces of software integrated and working properly. The other is a complexity issue because of the chart of accounts is a more sophisticated chart of accounts now. And this campus, I'll come to that in a second, never had a sophisticated infrastructure. So many of the people were not adequately trained or adequately made aware or given notice that what's going to happen. And I think that's really bad management, to be honest with you. And I talked to Pierre and I talked to Vince, and I said, we should be taking responsibility for this. We cannot make this the people's problem. Our job is to really provide people the tools, right? But to not provide the tools and make it somebody's problem is not acceptable. So what's happening now? There are people working on the technology part, and there are people working on training people part. It is not going as fast because there's, some of these things take time, but that's where we need to be. We need to be focused on training our people, supporting our people, and making sure they're not stressed out doing a job that they used to do fine yesterday, but today they're not fine because the technology behind changed and nobody knew what that change was.
Yeah. I know it's been frustrating for many staff, and I'm sure they're looking forward to, is there a timeline for the committee?
I don't know if there's a timeline. I was going to say ASAP, but clearly now I'm monitoring progress and we will see how progress is being made. And again, if there are issues, people should feel free to articulate the issues, not because you are trying to complain or quote unquote throw somebody else under the bus, but you're doing this to make this institution a better place.
Mm-hmm.
And unless I know it, it won't change, because if I don't know it, I don't know what to change.
Yeah, no, you have to increase awareness by speaking up. And so I thank you for inviting us to be able to do
Right.
that.
So just remember, you're not complaining. You're not throwing somebody else under the bus. You are making me aware so that I can work towards making this institution a better place. So another thing I was going to say is this institution, 9 years ago when I came here, I said after the planning process, I characterize this institution as the brain of a 40-year-old mature person and the body of a 13-year-old, where it is disproportionate, it is not coordinated, because we never focused on infrastructure. We always focused on what a great research institution we were, which works fine for a while, but then you need to have infrastructure to support that. So a lot of our infrastructure was like 60 different pieces of software. Each department had their own. Then they kind of cobbled it together. Somehow it worked, but nobody knew if it worked or not, right? So that's why building new infrastructure was important. But having said that, it could have been done a little bit differently and a little bit slowly.
Yeah, it's for me, sometimes I think about how young the university is in comparison to other institutions.
Yes.
And how quickly we've grown. And
Exactly.
in some respects, I think it was just, we had to respond to the need at the moment. And now it's pressing that pause button and sort of reassessing to figure out what does the future look like for the
That's
best
exactly
processes.
right. And we still don't have a state-of-the-art student information system. So there's still other infrastructure we have to build. But this one should be a strong lesson in how you need to build not just technology, but people's capabilities and bring the two together simultaneously rather than leave one behind.
Right.
Without people, technology doesn't work. People can talk about AI. AI doesn't work without people. AI still needs people.
Yes. Agreed. So we have learned to work in new ways over the past year and a half. In what ways have you been impressed or inspired by the work of staff during the pandemic?
Actually, I've been inspired by the resilience exhibited by the students, the staff, and the faculty. And I remember early on, like a few years ago, like even like 3 years ago, the faculty would say, oh, remote courses are not that great, so we don't want to have remote courses. And overnight, our faculty were some of the leaders in creating spectacular remote courses. Managers would say, you know what, if my staff work from home, they'll go shopping and they won't deliver the work, and I don't know if I want to do this or not. So even though we've always had a policy of flexible work, it was not utilized very effectively. And clearly, during the pandemic, the staff did the work and then some. So they were like extremely productive. They were extremely committed. And and when you're working alone, on one hand, you have more time because nobody's wasting your time in meetings. But on the other hand, you're also more stressed out because you don't have the support, the human support infrastructure, right? So then to deliver high quality work becomes a little bit more difficult. But our staff did that and then some. So I cannot tell you how impressed I am.
It's going to change
It's
because
going to change, but I hope we are able to create a balance where we are able to balance in-person interactions with some independence, where people can be accommodated to work effectively the way they think they could be more effective, rather than one size fits all type of strategy.
Yeah. And I think that's important for us to find that balance. And I do know the challenges prior to the pandemic of staff who wanted to have a flexible schedule and they couldn't get one. And so if we can get to a place where they're able to a day or two, I think that will work out really well.
Well, I'm hoping we do, because I still hear stories about, so we are telling supervisors and managers that they in some many ways have reasonable flexibility in deciding the work schedule for their staff. And I still hear stories about, XYZ wants everybody to come to work because they don't trust if their staff is going to work or not. So my view there is, I said, this means that XYZ needs to rethink their view and their trust in people. If you don't trust people, you can never be a good supervisor. You will never be a good leader.
Yes.
Inherent in leadership is trust. I mean, look at me. Where I sit, for example, sit on, I think, a very successful institution only because I trust people and they deliver on their success. It's not that I'm doing all the work. So you got to trust people.
Yeah, and I am confused by the supervisors who feel the need to see their employees to prove that they're doing the work, because I think we've all been in situations where you can walk by a cube and someone's shopping,
yeah, I know,
planning their next vacation.
Exactly. And that's fine. I mean, look, work does not mean you cannot have a personal life at work. And
Right.
personal life does not mean you cannot have a work life at home. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there is always interaction between the two, and we need to have faith in people. We need to know that they believe in what they do and they will deliver the tasks that they are given. So you cannot be it's like, at home, you cannot be supervising everybody all the time. You got to have faith.
I'd be interested in talking to those supervisors who are feeling the need to see their people just to better understand their perspectives.
Yeah, I mean, look, everybody's got a bad experience in something or the other, but
Yes.
one bad experience or two bad experiences cannot change your philosophy of life and create more bad experiences for no good reason.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So what do you want staff to know heading into fall quarter and returning to work on campus?
So I want them to know what I've always said before, that without you, we would not be who we are and where we are. So I not only want you to know that, I want you to internalize it, and I want you to believe that I believe in you.
Okay.
Right? So don't just check the box. I want you to believe that I believe in you and I believe in everything you do. And anything I can do to make this a better place, make your life more comfortable. I cannot work with every staff member individually, but broad issues that I can create policies around, that I can influence policies around. I want this to be a place where staff want to come to work every day. Or it doesn't mean they have to come to work physically, don't get me wrong, as in come to work, as in work for this place every day.
And so I think that some staff would feel there are many layers of leadership in between them and you. And so how does that work?
Look, this is just the nature of a complex organization with so many people. There are many layers of leadership, but if I may say so, one of my strengths has been, and I tell people, I talk to the person on the street, and I talk to my vice chancellors, and I talk to everybody in between. Nobody can tell me who I can or cannot talk to, right? And I say this to people, everybody has a right to talk to me, send me an email. I have office hours for staff. You can just show up 15 minutes. I don't even ask you what the topic is. And you show up and you ask me any random question, and then we have a conversation. It may not make you happy every time you hear my answer, but it'll be at least a conversation.
Well, some people don't like the answers they hear to the questions they ask, but it's the truth. And so,
Right.
And you're a very direct individual, which I appreciate. I don't need anything sugar-coated. I just want to hear what is really going on.
Exactly. And the reason for that, Jen, is very simple. We are all mature, smart individuals. So by sugarcoating stuff, I'm only creating more complexity for you to figure out, what did I say? How did I say it? What did I mean? It just wastes your mental energy for no good reason.
Exactly. Which some days is a lot less than others.
Exactly.
All right, we're gonna start to wrap this up. So we're gonna do some fun activities
Okay.
Something we've actually never done before. You are our finale of the cabinet conversations. We started with Pierre on June 30th of 2020. So that's how long we've been doing the cabinet conversations. We were trying to do them about monthly. But yeah, you're our last. And this is part of the series of the staff celebration that we're continuing to plan and try to recognize staff for all of their hard work. So we're going to start with an easy question. What are your interests outside of work? Do you have any hobbies? And have you seen anything good on Netflix lately?
Oh yeah, actually watching Netflix is a hobby. So it has become a hobby. So let's see, what did I see on Netflix? I've seen a lot of good things, but the show that really was very inspiring and eye-opening to me was called 14th. It was about the 14th Amendment. And it was like an amazing series on the history of racism and amendments in this country. And it was actually really eye-opening. I mean, you understand what citizenship means and all the good stuff. So yes, a lot of good stuff on Netflix. What are my hobbies? Actually, I enjoy traveling, believe it or not. I enjoy going out. I enjoy just sitting and reading, which, believe it or not, I don't get much time to do anymore. I used to read a lot, and I don't get much time to do anymore.
Reading emails.
That's what I do, but that's not the reading I enjoy. The reading I enjoy is like reading great books, reading nonfiction.
Of course. So we are going to do a lightning round of either or. So I'll read one or another, and you tell me which one you prefer.
You asking me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird. Used to be night owl, but early bird.
Dog or cat?
Dogs.
City or countryside?
City.
Mountains or ocean?
Oceans.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
Walk or run?
Walk.
And feel free to add any commentary to this.
Well, you can tell I'm a lazy person. I like the summer, not the winter. I like the walk, not the run.
I only run if something's chasing me. Soccer or football?
Actually, football, believe it or not.
Okay.
As in American football.
Do you have a team?
I do and I don't. So I usually start watching seriously during the playoffs, and I like teams that have very strong, fast passing games. So I don't like, believe it or not, like teams like Steelers, which have very tough defensive games, but I like sophisticated passing games, precision games.
Disneyland or Legoland?
Can I pick neither?
Sure.
Actually, Disneyland.
Okay. The San Diego Zoo or the Safari Park?
The zoo.
Okay. Romantic comedy or suspense?
Both.
Okay.
This one I like both, right?
Do you have a favorite movie?
Casablanca. I
Okay.
know it's a really old movie, yeah, right.
That's okay. Talking or listening?
Listening and then talking.
Okay. In that order. Okay.
In that order, right?
Calling or texting?
Actually texting and then calling.
Oh, okay.
I text people, are you available? And then I call before they have even responded.
All right. I was going to say that's courteous until you said before they responded. Speed or accuracy?
Accuracy.
Half glass full or empty?
Full.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
How many?
Black. Huh?
How many?
I maybe drink like 2 cups a day, but I try not to drink after about 12 noon because then it keeps me awake.
Yeah. Regular or diet?
Regular.
Red or white?
Red. And white.
Always? Oh, okay.
Actually, it could be white followed by red, but red preferred.
Okay. Hamburger or hot dog?
Hamburger.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Brownie or a cookie?
Cookie. Chocolate chip though.
Okay. No raisin oatmeal.
No.
Well, thank you for surviving that lightning round and allowing our staff to learn more about you.
This is great. I think what you would have gathered from here, if you're a psychologist, is that I'm like a low-key lazy person, but I'm also very focused and intent on getting the job done. So
that was what I was going for. So mission accomplished.
Will do. You're a great interviewer, Jen. Keep up the great work.
Thank you. And thank you for your time today.
Everybody keep up the good work. Thank you, everybody. Bye.